Okay guys, so I planned on doing this all day and then I kind of got busy and forgot to turn the camera on. Okay, so I'm turning my quick cooker on to sear. Just gonna wait for it to get hot and then I'm gonna add the olive oil. Okay, so this is hot. In fact, it's maybe too hot, but I'm putting ground sausage in, but this sausage has already been cooked. What happened was I was away for a few days and we thought we were coming home night before last. So Glenn cooked this big stuffer with sausages and potatoes and stuff, and hardly anybody was here, so it was all left over. So I'm just going to saute it as if it was raw. And I'm going to add in my onions and garlic. So I'm just, I should really do an intro and everything to this video to kind of let you know what's happening. But again, like I said, I forgot to turn the camera on. I've already got, I made that lentil olive soup again. I've got that on the stove. Plus I cooked, this is just half the sausage. I cooked the other half in a sausage rice casserole. I'll post the end result of it. I did it in my Instant Pot. This I'm doing in my quick cooker, which is kind of like the Instant Pot. And so I'm doing 3 dishes at once is what's happening. Maybe not the smartest move, but that's where I'm at. And so then all of a sudden halfway through it clicked, oh, you didn't video it. And I needed a video. I didn't put one up Monday because I wasn't in town and I had really nothing. So this is what we're doing. We are improvising, whatever you want to call it. So I have approximately, it's a little less than a pound of sausage in here. The recipe calls for a pound. I didn't have it. I was dividing it between 2 casseroles. So I had almost 2 pounds and I just divided it in half. I've got an onion or 2 chopped in there, and it called for garlic powder, but I chopped fresh garlic. The only seasoning in this is salt and pepper. That's not really good enough for me. This is a cabbage roll casserole done in the Instant Pot. And I'm modifying the recipe because it calls for rice and I don't want white rice. So I'm putting in riced cauliflower. I'm not sure where I put it. It's here somewhere. So I'm going to add some spices now. I like to add the spices when it's searing. I've got my quick cooker on sear, which on the Instant Pot it's saute. Just let me grab some stuff. So I'm just kind of browning the meat and putting oregano, some thyme. Actually, I should be showing you this, sorry. I know the steam's gonna make it a little hard, but we're just making do. So I've got oregano and thyme. And I'm going to throw in some salt, just a pinch. Put in some fresh ground pepper. And I'm going to put in some smoked paprika. I'm addicted to this stuff. Put in a good amount. And I'm going to put in some harissa, some powdered harissa. It's got chilies and all kinds of stuff in it. It's actually a spice blend that I buy. It's a little spicy. I'm sure it has cumin and all kinds of good things. And because this is for me, I can make it as spicy as I want. So I'm just going to stir those in and let them toast for a little bit. So it's, again, because the meat's already cooked, the onion is softened, and I don't want it to burn on the bottom of that. I'm now going to shut this off, and I'm going to add about 3/4 of a cup of beef broth. It's homemade broth. So I'm just throwing that in. And you want to make sure with the Instant Pot that if you've been sauteing anything, that you scrape up everything off the bottom of that pot. For one, you don't want to miss the flavor, but for two, it will cause a burn warning and your pot will shut off, and it's a royal pain. Ask me how I know. So you just kind of want to go through and get all the scrapings off that pot. Another reason I don't typically let it cook too long on sear, because it can stick and it isn't always easy to know that you got it off. Okay, that's looking good. Okay, so now I'm adding, I have approximately 6 cups of cabbage chopped. It's going in. Typically I would add the rice in here as well, but I'm not using it, so I'm actually going to use a cup of the riced cauliflower. And a little extra. I was pleasantly surprised. I've never used the frozen stuff before. I got it at Costco. And what I like about it is there's a big bag, but it's got a whole bunch of individual little bags inside that big bag. So it takes up, like I can just bring the one bag in. I probably could have put it all in there, but I'm just not wanting to put too much liquid, only because I'm not putting rice, and obviously rice typically absorbs liquid. So I don't have anything in here that's going to absorb liquid. In fact, almost everything I have in here is going to create liquid. The recipe doesn't call for this, but I'm going to throw in a little bit of celery and a little bit of chopped carrot. And I think that's it. Spilled some of the paprika on the side. Don't want to waste it. That stuff's not cheap. That's the wrong lid. And I'm supposed to put in the rest of the broth. Again, I'm gonna go a little shy because I'm nervous about how liquidy this is going to be. And so the lid is going on, and I'm putting it on pressure or whatever it is for the Instant Pot. It said 8 minutes. I'm putting it on for 6, maybe 7, halfway. And there it goes. I'll be back when it's finished and see what we have. In the meantime, I'm going to take you over and show you the other casserole that I have that I'm making for the kids. Well, not the kids, but everybody but me. My kitchen is a disaster. It's just a disaster. So this is a picture of the first casserole that I'm making. This is for the rest of the family. It's in my Instant Pot. And it is just finished, so I'm about to put the cheese in, sorry about the steam, and stir it up. So now I just put the cheese in, and I'm going to stir it. Actually, I think I'm not going to use this. I'm going to use a knife, because there's rice in here. And I'm afraid if I use something like that, it's going to make the rice all starchy. I think I'm just going to leave it right now and let it soak up the extra liquid. And then I'll come back just before we eat it and stir the cheese back in. So this has rice, the sausage, and I've let it sit quite a bit, and it has absorbed all the liquid that was in there. I was kind of nervous it was going to be too mushy. Still mushier than I like it, but I've got cheese that I had melting on top, and I'm just going to stir it in, and then their supper is ready. So the tomatoes that I put in both these casseroles are tomatoes that we froze, not from our garden, but we bought tomatoes and froze them. And they're handy to have all winter. The difference in taste is I don't like canned tomatoes from the store. I can always taste the tin, and this just has such a fresh flavor. We just wash them, throw them in freezer bags, and put them in the freezer. And then I grind them up when I'm ready to use them. I thought out what I need, and I put them in my blender, and I either blend for a while if I want like a sauce, or just on low until it's kind of like a chopped consistency. So that was in both of these. The beef broth is homemade. Again, mine has cabbage, the sausage, onions, garlic, carrots, celery, and the tomatoes, and the cauliflower, and I will be putting grated cheese on top of it as well when it's done, and stirring that in. So I'll be back when it's finished. So the other thing that I forgot to mention is when you're using an Instant Pot or any kind of electronic pressure cooker, at least on the ones that I've worked with, it's important to make sure that your vent is sealed. So on the Instant Pot, you put your lid on, and then there's a little flip valve thing that you turn one way to seal and the other way to vent. On this one, this is the button you use to release the pressure, and once you release it, that button stays down. So I always have to remember to push it to seal it again when I'm cooking the next time. And this is the valve steam release here, and it has to be pointing in this direction. And I have numerous times, more than I care to admit, turned it on, not pushed the button back up, not had this turned properly, and you're wondering why it's taking so long. Well, it's because it's not coming up to pressure, because if you leave that open, the pressure doesn't build. So then when it's done, I press the steam release. I don't have to touch this. It takes off the steam. On the Instant Pot, you flip the little valve the other way, and you'll feel it kind of raise up a bit, and it's letting the pressure off. There will be a button here that pops up when it's under pressure and goes down when the pressure is released completely. So you don't want to try and take this lid off. I don't even know if it'll let you, but don't even find out. Don't try and take that off until this valve is all the way down, and it has one on the Instant Pot as well. Because if it ever could come off and that's still under pressure, you're going to get burnt really badly. So just a friendly reminder. Okay, so the moment of truth. I'm going to turn this so that it doesn't steam up my camera. I have let it cook the full 6 minutes or whatever I had it set for, and now I've let it sit for another 17. The pressure is still not, like the button's still up, so there's still pressure. So now I'll press the button to let that pressure off. I'm kind of interested in knowing what condition it's going to be in, how saucy it'll be. So we're watching this red valve here to see when it drops, and then I can open it and check on the casserole. So everybody really liked the other one, the rice one. There you go, did you hear that? So it dropped. So I just turn the lid, lift off, let it drain, and kind of open it away from you because steam can give you such a terrible burn. And let's see, we're gonna stir this up. Yeah, it's got quite a bit of liquid, which I don't mind. And I'm gonna let it sit for a bit, and I'm gonna stir in some cheese, so that should thicken it up somewhat. Okay, so I'm just putting in about 4 ounces of grated, well, I crumble it in my blender. I have marble, you could put whatever cheese you want. I may throw in a bit of Parm too. So the sausage is there. I'm just gonna throw some Parm in as well. I think that'll just give it a lot of extra flavor. And I'm just gonna let it sit for a bit, let it absorb whatever it's gonna absorb. Plus I always like food after. I don't like it right hot. I like it when it sits. In fact, truth be told, I probably enjoy it better the next day. So this is almost a soup at this point. I don't know what it's gonna do over time, but that's okay. I'm going to just show you some in a bowl so you can get an idea of what it looks like. So it's got cabbage, sausage, tomatoes, cauliflower, carrots, celery, and herbs and spices. So I'm going to put these recipes on my blog, and I'll put a link in the description below. So if you want to try them, you can. Feel free to modify. Actually, if I thought of it, I could still do it. I might throw some spinach in here as well and let it wilt. Actually, I'm just gonna put a handful in, stir it in, that'll wilt just perfectly, just with the heat that's in there already. The more, honestly, again, if I had been more organized today and not just kind of rushing to get food on the table, etc., because I was away for a few days, so except for the sausages, the fridge was pretty much empty of anything that was readily available. So I would have probably put some peppers in here as well. You could put so many things, zucchini, kale. Don't be afraid to just take whatever you've got, actually, and toss it in the pressure cooker, Instant Pots, whatever you want to call it. Really do. They don't save you a lot of time because it takes time for it to come up to pressure and whatever, but they're really convenient. You can put it on, you don't touch it. No appliance does it all. I have so many different appliances and I like them each, but they each have their own niche, and trying to make them something that they're not. I don't like cooking roasts in here. I don't even really like cooking stews. Probably if I took more time browning it, maybe I would, but I use it all the time for hard-boiled eggs. I do 14 eggs at a time. They peel so easily when you do them in the Instant Pot. The other thing I do is my quinoa. It never burns. It's always fluffy. Steel cut oats is one of my favorites. I will do steel cut oats in here and have them for the few days, like already prepped. When I want them, I just warm them up in the microwave. And what else do I really like in here? Oh, there's a butter chicken recipe on the Instant Pot site that is really good. Or just things like, oh, there's an Instant Pot spaghetti. It is on my blog, I think. If it is, I'll link it down below. It's really easy and quick, and the spaghetti cooks in the sauce. My grandson told me it's his favorite spaghetti because it's not runny. Just, you know, they have their own areas where they shine and then areas where they don't. So don't ever buy an appliance that thinks that you think, or it's being sold as it does everything, because it doesn't. I would beg to differ really loudly. Anyway, guys, I'm gonna finish cleaning up here and make it an early night, but thanks for hanging out with me. Welcome to my kitchen. Again, I'm just trying to provide budget-friendly, whole ingredient, easy, healthy, and they're not, some are healthier than others. I'm not gonna lie. There's some of my recipes that they wouldn't be something you'd want to eat all the time, but they're usually made from ingredients. Everything's made from scratch, mostly ingredients that you put in yourself, not pre-packaged other than frozen, just because I really want everyone to know that they don't have to rely on these processed, pre-packaged, adulterated things that we have to choose from in a grocery store. So maybe some people take exception with that, but I feel if you're going to cook, or well, if you're going to eat, which we all have to eat, I think the cheapest, healthiest option is, for most of the time, obviously there's going to be exceptions, but most of the time, if you cook from scratch. So I'm just trying to offer things that are not weird, expensive. I mean, there might be some dishes I do that, you know, are a little not out of the box a bit, but for the most part, it's easy to find ingredients. It's easy to cook. You don't have to be gourmet chef. And I think over time, you'll find that you've saved money and eaten healthier. Sorry this video is so haphazard today, but I didn't want to miss the opportunity. So I'm probably not going to cook tomorrow. I got 3 meals here. So anyway, guys, if you enjoy this channel, if anything that I offer is beneficial or helpful, or you enjoy the videos, whatever, please subscribe down below. No, this one. Subscribe down below, hit the notification bell, choose all notifications, and then you won't miss any of the videos that I put out. I try to do it twice a week, typically Monday and Friday. I missed Monday this week, so this will be, I may keep this one for Friday, just because I'm probably not going to do anything tomorrow, so I may want to make sure I have one this week for sure. But yeah, so thanks for hanging out with me. Leave comments, suggestions, whatever below, and I'll see you the next time.